Welcome
How you
to
been, Ed?
the table. I'm Ed Cody, and welcome our guest, Pittsburgh Penguins color analyst and the king of sartorial splendor, Jay Caufield. Jay, let's look at this first half, kind of like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, good. They played some spurts of some great hockey. They're
Yep.
22, 17, and 7, uh, tied for fifth, 1 point behind the Islanders, and then and spot for the second wild card behind Detroit. And yet there's some things there that are ugly, some blown leads that they had, and the power play, 31st ranked in the league. Recent streak of just 6 out of 50, only 13%. I was looking last year, it was a juggernaut at 21%. So a big
Right.
change there. 4 for 7 in overtime games and shootouts. So Jay, what's been the good, and then what's been the bad and the ugly in this first half?
Yeah, well, the good would be Crosby and his line, whoever he's with. I mean, he and Gensel together play so well, and they've been great 5-on-5. The team in general has been good 5-on-5, right, Ed? So that's the bright spot. I thought the goaltending throughout the first half, they did have a couple bumps here and there, but for the most part, they were very good as well. They gave their team each and every night an opportunity to gain 2 points. So that was all the good part. I think the downside is everything you just touched on. The power play was anemic. I mean, I haven't seen it at this level with the talent that's on the ice. I just don't think they ever really have found. Um, when Carlson comes in, all these different players come in, but high end players. And I think once you start jumping around on the power play and have Carlson be the number one, they just never haven't found their stride. And enough so that you see Mike Sullivan making a switch the last couple of games before the break. So I think that might settle things down. And it's not against, it hasn't worked. And whoever has been on those units, if there's a change, there should be no, you don't have a defense to why you're not still on the power play if they move you, because it's worst in the league or 31st in the league. So there's not a lot of time for when it's not working. It's costing them games. And I think that's probably the biggest negative. And it's been a glaring one, right, Ed? It's been the glaring part. They just haven't been able to find it. I still think they're trying to find, as you can see, with the roster changes coming up before this coming into the second half of the season, if you will. Players are their movement. They're not happy with what they still are getting on the bottom. As far as offensive production, the bottom six, they're just not getting it. But I think with healthy players coming back, Ed, some of the guys that have been up top are going to move down, and that'll make that stronger. So let's see how it plays out. But still, something they're searching for that. They're searching for the numbers on the bottom half of the lineup, and they just haven't been able to get it. And that's product of injury, product of new talent, product of guys getting an opportunity, not staying with it, and then they move on from somebody. So the one player that I like Pustonen, but I think he's going to be the odd man out with what has just taken place over the break. So we'll see what happens. But again, to me, the power play, if they just got in stride, just anything, just started to feel the game and change momentum, they're going to be poised for a strong run in the second half.
You don't foresee any changes with the first line, obviously, or even the second. What about the third and fourth lines?
Well, the second's still the one that's up in the air. I mean, we're going to see what they end up doing with that still. I think with Riley Smith coming back, I'm not. I wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to put him right into the third line? Or are they going to put him right back with Malkin? He's a skilled player that's had success, steady success throughout his career, and he's hit a road bump here.
Who
It's
do you
been
take
he had a
out,
great
White or O'Connor? Who comes out on that second line?
on that second line. I mean, I think. Look, you have. I think the key is going to be what are they going to do with Raquel, and what are they going to do with Smith? Now, you could certainly make a strong third line with Eller in the middle if you had that. But I think you got to almost naturally. They like what Drew O'Connor brings. You know, his speed, his heart on the puck. He opens up lanes. But if the offense falls flat, I don't know. I think he'd be a great. I think if you have him back on the third line, that's going to make a really good third line. And I think they need that. They got to find Raquel and Smith have to find their game to have this team be a success that the way they think they can be. So I think it's going to be tonight. We'll know tonight's lineup, Ed, will tell us a lot. Where are we going to see guys slotted? And as of right now, the guys that got to get back into the field of the game of how they play it is going to be Riley Smith and it's going to be Raquel, who started to find it, but now they've moved them around a little bit. So I want to see what they do with those guys starting tonight, Ed.
How about the fourth line with the Harkins and Carter and Achiara. You happy with what you're seeing there?
Well, they like what they bring. They take a lot of defensive zone. They start in the defensive zone. A lot of their draws that they start off with are in the defensive side. They like that they bring a defensive conscience, but they can produce too. And I still Harkins. I don't know. Again, it's one thing. I mean, when you're winning and everybody's going along and doing their job and you're out there, then it's all good. But as soon as you start to lose, if you start looking at the production that you're getting or not getting, that's the topic that comes up, right? Even if you're a guy that's doing your job, they still want to see offensive production. Harkins only has 4 assists, no goals. Carter's come alive, but they do things that the team needs as well. And it's strong defensively. As I said, they start a lot of their shifts inside the defensive zone. They get a defensive zone draw, so they have a responsibility that they got to get it down the other end and create opportunity. And they've been able to do that, but can they cash in? That's not going to change unless they find somebody else who fits into the Harkins role. But Achari and Carter will be there. It's whatever they're going to do on the left side. And you need production still from that. Third line, I think anybody who's playing with Lars Eller plays he's a skill game, but they also there's no surprise with his game if you're a winger. You know how he plays the game. So that's why I said it's going to be real. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. If Pustin is out of line tonight, which I believe he will be, because I think when you look at it, it wasn't in the line combinations over the last couple of days. So it's Puljujarvi, who they just signed, and we'll get a look at him, I believe, tonight. And that'll be an interesting thing to see. Maybe you'll see him on the third line with Eller, and whether that be Drew O'Connor on the left. Depends what they're going to do with Smith and Raquel. But if I looked at it, you'd almost go, okay, look, let's start this Malcolm between Riley Smith and Raquel. And then you have Drew O'Connor, Lars Eller, and Puljujarvi. That's almost how I would start. But they might go to that, but they might start differently. But I think I'd look at it that way. You want to get Riley Smith feeling happy and feeling good in Pittsburgh. And if he's not, then you get a problem because it's a big hole in your lineup that you're not getting production from.
Jay, you see any changes with the defensive pairings? Pedersen and Letang have been pretty solid so far.
Yep. I like that, Ed. I think Pedersen has been good with whoever he's played with. I mean, he's made that pairing better. I think Letang really likes playing with Pedersen, so that'll stay the same. I think you got Graves and Carlson has to be the one. That's another Ryan Graves, again, another guy who's come over trying to find the system. The system is different than what he played in New Jersey. He's very successful in New Jersey. It's a different system here. And he hasn't found his way either. I think the change in deep partners, that's been a good thing. And then he even went down to the third pair with Chad Ruedel. That's helped him find his game. So he needs to be good in the second half. And I say good for as far as what they expected to get from him with the contract that they signed when they picked him up. They expected to shut down big defensemen, and they haven't been comfortable with that. As you can see, when you see lineup movement, it's kind of the writings on the wall. They're not happy. They're trying to help him find his game. And when he does, again, that's another thing, Ed, the Penguins will be much better when Ryan Graves just settles in. I don't think there's anything worse for a player, no matter what your role is, if you're not feeling the game, right? If you're not in a good spot, it's difficult. You press, things don't go your way. The harder you try, the worse things go. And but I think Ryan Graves, was coming along the last 10 games before this break, All-Star break, and hopefully he continues as he gets back into the fold here tonight.
Hey, Jay, 36 games to play. What is the reasonable expectation for them to solidify in terms of wins a playoff spot? Do they need 20, 22? And that's a pretty good run out of 36.
Yeah, I always look at it. I've been looking at it as long as I've played the game, and you've had 10 game segments, and the Penguins need to be like no worse than they can't fall below like a 6-4 10-game segment, but they almost need to push the 7-3 kind of thing inside of 10 games. But I do believe inside this division, Ed, the teams that they're tracking to get the top 3. I mean, Philly started to slide. Can they maintain? Can teams maintain? The Penguins are going to only get better, my opinion. They're only going to get better. Eventually, the power play is going to click. That's one thing. Eventually, the other lines, everything's all going to come together. I feel comfortable, again, with the goaltending being the same, that I think they'll find themselves into a good spot. And I'm not sure what win total that'll be, but I just gave you like my little thought. Like, if you look at a 10-game segment, now they've got a number of those left. As you come up and you get into games 50 to 60, then 60 to 70, and 70 to 80, you want to be pushing that 7-3 number to have it be not a question at all. And I do think the teams in front, Washington, they're older, they're banged up. The Islanders, I don't know what you're going to get, but the coaching change, a real wild coaching change for me, Ed. I didn't never expect. I don't think anybody expected
Right.
Patrick Wall to be behind the bench there. So that's a different thing. And I think Philadelphia, they play the game hard, but can they maintain the level that they started off with? I'm not so sure about that. And Carter Hart, the goaltending situation, all up in the air. So I expect the Penguins to climb and get up there and stay and find themselves in a playoff spot by the end of this.
Hey Jay, always good talking to you. Let's get off to a good start against the Jets, and I'll be checking in to see what you're wearing tonight.
Okay, and then hopefully we'll do a little catch up before as we get towards the end of the season. Okay.
Hopefully we have a playoff to talk about. Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome, Ed. Great to talk to you, buddy.
I'll be right back with Alan George.
Armstrong has been a part of Butler County for over 60 years. We've run hundreds of miles of high-speed fiber, and we're not stopping. Your internet, television, and telephone connectivity is backed by a team of local technicians who are backed by their local office, who is backed by our 24/7 network operations team, as well as our 24/7 customer service center. Can the other guys say that? We didn't think so. Armstrong. Unmatched employees, unmatched technology, unmatched fiber network.
I'm back, joined to my right by the Swami George Abraham, to my left the Tiger Albert Campman. Let's go to Spotlight High School basketball. Guys, can you believe we're into the last week of the regular season?
Yes, we are.
For the boys, Ryan Check-Amaris, 45 points, career best for him. How about this performance? Josh Book of Slippery Rock High School, 28 points and 28 rebounds. Joey DePierick, North Allegheny, 25. Peter Kramer of Hampton, 24. Joseph Roth, Elwood City, 23. Anthony Chiote of North Allegheny, 22. And Tyler Pepin of Seneca Valley, 23. And a milestone, Tate Bailey of Carn City, 1,000 career points. For the girls, Avians Normans of Beaver Falls, 25. Claire Noble of Elwood City, 25. Ada Fuller of Knock, 24. Lydia Betts of North Allegheny, 23. Lindsay Luff of North Catholic, 20. And Taylor Pullen of Beaver Falls, 20. And a coaching milestone. Congratulations to North Allegheny coach Dave DiGregorio on his 500th career win. One he will fondly remember. A big comeback, 70-63 win over Butler. They were trailing 53-38 early in the third quarter. Then the Tigers held Butler to just 10 points over the last 13 minutes while scoring 32 for a 70-63 win. That moves them into second place.
Yeah, that league is topsy-turvy. Even Newcastle and Central Catholic, I think about that. One's 2-6, one's 6-2.
Yeah, and Central's 6-2, Newcastle's 2-6. Newcastle's only 2 wins against Central.
Yeah, I saw the Central Butler game. They came to Butler and just took names. They just murdered them.
And Butler's at Central this week, and then Friday they'll be home with Pine Ridge, and we will be there to do the doubleheader, girls and boys, and Pine's in the mix for a playoff spot. Yes. Big week, finishing.
Everyone's in the mix in that.
Right, you got that right.
Yeah.
Hey, college men, Slippery Rock University improves 11-10, 9-6 in a PSAC West with a 77-55 win over Seton Hill, led by Ike Hurster's 21 points. Not only that, the Rock looking for a home playoff.
They're going to get it.
Yeah, they're going to get it. Yeah, you 3 and 4 host 6 and 5. They're going to get it because 1-2 get buys.
And we will be at the Rock February 28th.
Absolutely.
We'll be doing a doubleheader, the women and the men
The Edinburgh
against
game
Edinburgh.
was close first time.
Yeah. Hey, high school basketball rankings. Looking at the top teams in 6A, Mount Lebanon remains on top. They're 16-3. North Allegheny moves into number 5. Butler dropped out. A big week for them with Central Catholic of Pine Richland. And 5A. Moon remains number 1. In 4A, number 1, Lincoln Park. Number 2 is Hampton, and tied for 5th, North Catholic and Knock. The big game this week is Hampton at Knock. That ought to be a battle. And in 3A, number 1, Deer Lakes. 2A, number 1, Aliquippa. And in 1A, number 1 is Imani. For the girls basketball, number 1, I guess this team's terrific. Peters Township, 19-0. North Allegheny, 3rd, 17-2. In 5A, number 1 is Oakland Catholic, 20-0, and in 4A, number 1 Blackhawk, and number 2 North Catholic. Number 1 in 3A is Avonworth. Number 1 in 2A is Aliquippa, and number 1 in 1A is Union of Newcastle. So let's go to our stories of the week. NFL Super Bowl 58 for the Chiefs, a chance at NFL glory with their third Super Bowl win in the last 5 years. For the 49ers, a chance at a sixth Lombardi to tie the Patriots and the Steelers. And I'm hearing a little bit of a subplot here. If the Chiefs win, Andy Reid could step down.
Well, it's sometime for everybody. You
Yeah.
know, you just don't know when it's going to happen, but that'd be a perfect time for him to go out with the Super Bowl champion.
What do you guys think about the line? The 49ers by 2, the over and under 47.5.
We had this happen before here when we talked about it. I was telling Al, everybody I asked says Kansas City, but the line creeps toward 49ers.
Why do you think that is?
That was big money or smart money or some kind of money.
Has to be the sharp money coming out of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because the public likes Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The public all likes
What's the famous line, Al?
Mahomes won't lose.
Yeah, that's the famous line.
Yeah.
Hey, to me, in this game, the interesting matchup is the pressure on the defensive coordinators, the first-year defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes for the 49ers, and the veteran, Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs. Now, can Wilkes shore up San Francisco's run defense, which has been giving up 148 yards a game, and can Spagnuolo slow down the 49ers on third down? That's when they become dangerous, and Brock Purdy makes the plays on third down.
Yeah, it's a good lead in. I think the difference in the game is San Francisco's defensive front against Kansas City's better offensive front. I think Kansas City will dominate the running game. I'm worried about the running game because I'm going to take the 49ers, and because I think offensively it's just so much skill. But if they don't get the ball back, it doesn't make a difference. If Kansas City holds the ball first down, because Kansas City doesn't play anything like they used to. You know, they want to run the ball. Think about that.
Yeah, they're more of a running game.
They don't want to throw the ball.
But as I said before, I think their young receivers have caught up and matured.
They're a little better
as
than
the
they were
season
before.
Went along. But then with Samuels healthy and McCaffrey, who had a big game.
Well, they're skill players,
against
and their offensive
Detroit,
line is really good.
and Purdy's third down plays. That's when he's the most dangerous on third down.
And how about the runs last game?
Yeah, puts his head down,
Huge runs.
forges ahead.
I agree. I think that's going to be a great game. I really do.
I'm sticking with my prediction, 49ers 26-24. What's yours?
I'll go 49ers 31-28.
Howard?
24-20 San Francisco.
Is that an under
You
there?
think that
I think it's
under?
under.
Yeah,
I do think it's under.
really?
Oh, yeah, I think
That's
Kansas.
interesting.
I told you
Yeah.
I think Kansas is going to run the ball.
Hey, I said
Yeah.
him on the way in. Nobody's mentioning this. There's a great disparity in the kicking.
Oh, without yeah.
Butler or whatever, he's deadly.
Yes, he's very
Moody
good.
for San Francisco has been very inconsistent.
Up and down.
Well, you
up
don't
and
want
down.
that in a game like this.
49ers show little interest in blitzing. I think you're going to see a little bit of a twist there, maybe a little bit more blitzing, especially mixing things up a little bit on the run defense.
Well, that's the key. Run blitz. I don't think they're going to pass blitz. I think they're going to try to fill the
Run
gaps.
blitz.
Try to fill the gaps with the run, because Kansas City's coming in that game to run the football. They want to say, stay on the sideline, San Francisco's offense. Stay over there. I mean, if it's 2nd and 3, then Mahomes is really dangerous.
Yeah,
You
know what I like about Andy Reid. Remember it took him 4 NFC playoff games before he won a
Everybody
championship.
said he was lousy. They're
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh, he's a dummy. He's a dummy.
Now everybody's saying how smart he
You
is.
know what's interesting about him? His innovative style, his running attack is Lombardi's run to daylight, which is a lot more complicated. People think it was just simple running the football. And his passing attack is Sid Gilman's passing tree, and he's combined the two.
That's pretty good coaching, huh?
Pretty good stuff.
You know what? Now that you said earlier, I don't think he'll quit either as long as Mahomes is healthy.
Yeah. Maybe. But
I guess you want to ride that out, right?
But you know what? He's not. He's what, 65 or 66. It's just a subplot rumor out there.
Oh no,
possibly.
it's out
He could
there.
walk
No,
away.
it's out there. It is
Hey,
out
going to the Super Bowl
You going?
last year.
Yeah, you going?
Yeah,
You paying that $1,000, huh?
The average ticket price last year was $5,500. This year, the average ticket price is $11,000. But some tickets will be going well over that. Well,
I think that's
$20,000.
right in the middle of your budget, Eddie. $11,000.
Get 3 or 4. You guys want one?
Yeah, a 3-day hotel stay is $5,400. Some hotel rooms going for $10,000 a night. You add in your plane fare and food and beverage, and you're looking at a $20,000 bill per person.
And they'll be filling that place up.
And it's in Las Vegas.
Las
Yes.
Vegas.
Oh my!
It's
What
America.
happened
So add another
It's-
20,000 on that when they lose that money the
yeah,
night
at the
before.
slots.
Yeah. So America's game is for the rich. You look at the first two
Nice.
Super Bowls. Tickets were relatively cheap.
$5.
Hey, how about the second Super Bowl? I was surprised to see this. We had a U.S. population of 210 million. 70 million tuned into that second Super Bowl. A third of the U.S.
That's why
population.
they-
Was that the one that
that's
was
why
on
it's
all three
boomed.
networks? That was the first one. They did the
This
kickoff
is
over.
with Oakland,
Okay.
the second one.
Because they did the kickoff over.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, and an interesting statistic, I didn't realize how big the Green Bay receivers were. A Boyd Dollar 6'5", 224, Max McGee 6'3", 205, and Carroll Dell 6'2", 205. Those are three big receivers.
Yeah, they were huge receivers.
Hung
used
over.
And they ran great
they
routes.
used their body.
They were hung over. One guy.
Max McGee. And he caught 7
I
passes
know.
for 138 yards after Carroll Dell separated his
Yeah, they
shoulder.
talk about
against
Vince Lombardi
Kansas
as a great disciplinarian.
Yeah, yeah.
He knew he was drunk. He knew he came in
Absolutely.
drunk. But he said,
Absolutely.
Max, you ready to play?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Okay, go get him.
Yeah. And you know the interesting thing before that first Super Bowl in the Ice Bowl where Chuck Mersine of Yale had a great game.
Think about that.
He was 240. So come to the Super Bowl, they're in Los Angeles, good weather. Lombardi said, "This game's not for you."
He's never played. He never got off the bench.
He didn't
Yes.
dress for the game. All right, let's look at the Steelers now. They hire Arthur Smith as offense coordinator. He's a good hire. I don't think it's spectacular. He's 21-30 as a head coach with Atlanta. The problem was he didn't have a quarterback, didn't develop a quarterback. He's no quarterback whisperer. But when he was with Tennessee, those 2 years, it was Derrick Henry left, Derrick Henry right. He ran for 3,500 yards. But what everyone forgets, he had 2 all-pro offensive tackles in Taylor Lewan and Jack Conklin. So the Steelers now, the last 2 years have been, 16th and 13th in rushing the football, but yards per carry only 26th in the 1 year. So what are we going to see that's different, and what can Smith do with Pickett?
Well, he's going to run the zone scheme that he ran there in Atlanta. And
Okay.
Pittsburgh's zone scheme is really weak. They're going to try to strengthen it up, but they want to run the ball. That's why they hired him.
Yeah, it's going to be the same
That's
thing.
So that's
Nothing's
why
gonna
that's why
change.
they hired him. They're going to try to win with defense, try to hold the ball.
And this is Tomlin. This is
No, that's
Tomlin's
the thing.
style.
So that's what
That's
happened.
what going to do.
That's what happened.
But the question
I don't
is,
know if it's good or
do
bad.
you think he
but
can
I
do
know,
it?
but I know what the plan is.
Yeah, okay. He's a good hire, but not exciting. What can he do with Pickett? What do you think?
He has to bring someone lousy in for him to beat out because he can't beat anybody good out.
Well, I will say it again. They can make a big jump instantly if they have the guts.
Oh, they're good for the
Sign
Bears.
Fields. Yeah.
Oh, I
Sign-
got him.
Sign Fields.
I got
Go
him
sign,
first place.
Go sign Fields.
Well, while this talk, why not? I'll bring in Ryan Tannehill. He's used
No.
to
Oh,
can't play.
Jesus.
Where-
Oh,
where do they
oh,
get
my
that?
head
He's
hurts.
done.
Oh.
Okay.
Do you
I don't
remember
think
that day they had the home field? He threw, 77 interceptions against the Bengals?
Yeah. I don't think they bring anyone in because I think Tomlin.
Well, I don't think they are either.
Tomlin is sold on Pickett.
Not just
That's
Tomlin.
his guy.
The whole
organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well that'll.
I agree with you on that, Eddie.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
But I know what I want.
Hey, how about this guy?
Well, also, probably Pickens and Deontay Johnson. They're not excited about this at
the
all.
ball bouncing at their feet.
But they need another receiver. They definitely need. Now he likes to use 2 tight ends. Do they have 2 tight ends? Freiermuth is a good receiver. He's not much of a blocker.
One's a good blocker, the other was a good receiver, right?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
we
lot
need a
of
good
changes.
offense. Let's hire Arthur Smith, said no one ever.
And the other candidate they interviewed was the OC for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, they were worse.
They went 3-14. I don't get it. Hey, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, congratulations to Pirate manager Jim Leland on his induction. 1 world championship with the Florida Marlins, but disappointing again. No Danny Murtaugh. 2 World Series titles. He's one of just 8 managers in Major League Baseball history with at least 1,000 career victories, 1,115, and a career win percentage in baseball. This is really good, of 540. Why
be in.
isn't he in?
He should be in
Why
easily.
isn't he in?
It's
Why
not-
is he being
Well, he should
ignored?
have been instead of Leland. But Leland's a media darling. You understand? If you're a media darling,
They
Yeah.
love Leland.
they love you. They love Dave Robertson, Dodgers. They love
DeRocher,
Leland.
1 World
You know,
Series.
I know who
He's in.
I know who the better manager is. Murtaugh. No
Murtaugh.
question about it.
Yeah, nothing against Jim Leland. Murtaugh was better. I think of Murtaugh's all his years. He only had one losing season and then one 500 season.
And it's a bad thing when you put guys in with one and have guys out with two.
It's
It's a
terrible.
bad look.
I'm one of 8 managers with
I know,
1,000.
not 18.
You look at win percentage in baseball. You're over.
We know
500. How good that is.
These young whippersnappers who are on their
writers.
voting.
Yeah.
They don't know who Danny Murtaugh is.
That's a shame. It really is. Hey, names, image, and likeness out of control. Per NCAA, money in deals can only be offered after a player commits to a school, not as a recruiting tool. I know we're laughing.
They didn't say that.
Everyone.
Did they say
No,
that?
they said
So
it.
yeah, so now they have gone after Tennessee, and Tennessee is
joke.
concerned because there's a myriad of violations by Tennessee for football. So how does Tennessee counter?
File
They get
suit.
their lawyers.
Sure.
They're filing a lawsuit against the
Absolutely.
NCAA
And they'll win it.
restriction of free trade.
They'll win it.
Yeah,
Restriction
They're
of
gonna
Did
free
you see the court yesterday? They called the Dartmouth athletes are employees, and they can have a union, and they can be fired.
Now, here's I said it before. I said it again. It's come. The NCAA knows they can't do this, and so you need to split away, get your own commissioner, form your own rules.
We said that 10
and
years
move it
ago.
here. Yeah.
It was 10 years
You know what? Now, just off the top of my head, you want to start putting Nick Saban in there as
Yeah,
commissioner?
you need somebody who knows what they're doing. That's one
Yeah,
thing for sure.
put someone in there like Saban as a
Yeah.
Yeah,
commissioner.
that's what's coming.
They
Carroll.
have to do something.
Pete
Pete
Carroll,
Carroll
somebody
would
that's
be
been
very
in
good.
both leagues.
Yes.
Knows what has happened. They didn't anticipate this. This is Wild Wild West. I mean, the handshake lines meet and greet.
John Ruiz, Miami, he just goes out and recruits whoever he wants.
Yeah, yeah.
A billionaire.
I talked to a high school coach yesterday, the Division II Player of the Year. Left Nova, which is in Florida, went to Georgia. Now remember, he's a Division II player. $800,000 he got.
Wow.
Now, so think about what the big timers are getting.
Yeah, Tennessee accused of offering a player. I think it was their quarterback now, the backup kid, $8 million. They were offering another player $15,000 a month.
Oh yeah, it's way
Did
past
you
the money.
see
we
the
had.
apartment of the kid at Southern Cal? Have you ever seen
No.
it? Oh my God, Ed.
Hey guys, college basketball history. Iowa star Caitlin Clark. She's currently 5th NCAA all-time scoring career. She needs to average 32 points a game to pass number 1 Pete Maravich of LSU, 3,667 points. Does she do
They
it?
play very similar, by the way.
Yeah.
And they're both.
What an achievement that would be for her.
Yeah, she can get it.
She's won 100 at Kelsey Plum.
Yeah,
She'll get
yeah.
it.
You know, the top 15 scorers in NCAA history, 8 of them are women.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey,
Boy,
I wanna-
she got range too, by the way.
Yeah,
Yikes,
she does.
yikes.
Hey, on a sad note, high school basketball at halftime of the York Mount Pleasant JV basketball game, first-year official Michael Roebuck, 45 years old, collapsed and died of a sudden cardiac event. He donated much of his time to coaching youth sports, survived by his wife, his 2 kids, his mother, and 3 brothers. You know, we take for granted what these officials do and how hard they work and make it possible for all these games.
We take for granted getting up today too. Thank
Yeah.
you, Lord.
Yep. Hey, that's it for us. We've run out of time. We'll see you next week.
Business Pro Wi-Fi from Armstrong Business Solutions is more than just Wi-Fi. It enhances productivity, tightens security, and is tailor-made for small business. Take control over guest networks with a branded portal, protect sensitive data, and manage staff with the WorkPass app. Business Pro Wi-Fi gives you customer insight, turning analytics into opportunities. Get a fully connected business intelligence platform in the palm of your hand. Business Pro Wi-Fi from Armstrong Business Solutions.